The word transformation is often used in relation to tantric practice. That is, tantric practice is transformational, transforming the confused state to the liberated state, confused condition to liberated condition through all the practices that we can learn and practice. Transformation, change, changing our condition, purposefully changing it because we feel the need for it, right? We feel that confusion is painful and going around in circles is painful, so we want to change that. We want to transform that situation. So I often say that when people have motivational problems, for example, for some reason or the other, I don't practice every day, even though I would like to, or sometimes I go without practice for a few weeks. So what should I do? Clarify your motivation. Why are you doing this? And where are you headed with this practice? What is your own goal? What do you want to achieve with it? And when you have your motivation clear, then you also know whether you wish to practice or not. It becomes much easier. When the motivation is clear, it sets the direction, clarifies your priorities, so you practice or you don't practice. Both are fine. If you practice, there will be change, transformation. That is what we want. But this change can be something else that we think about it, can be something else. It can take some form or forms that we didn't even imagine, we didn't come to think of. So, practice, whether it's this practice or other tantric practice or any other, sutra practice, it makes changes. And sometimes those changes are difficult and challenging. Sometimes our health may get worse. Sometimes the health can get really bad. Because what happens is that the practice is not the cause of illness, if that's what happens. It's just that the practice hits those karmas, those causes in our body that would cause illness to occur anyway. So it hits those points and makes this process faster. So it can come in the form of physical illness. It can also come in the form of mental illness. This is something I have contemplated lately, that what is mental illness? Well, there are different kinds. Depression, strong anxiety, strong depression, and such mental illnesses that are, strong depression is paralyzing. You lose the ability to do things in life. You lose direction. And depression, by the way, is caused by getting stuck in substrate consciousness, that gray fog. Somebody who's depressed, they don't have problems with busy thoughts. They have problem with being stuck in the mud or in swamp. Do you say swamp in Louisiana? Yeah. Being stuck in a swamp. And dynamic concentration is the best way to cut through it. But anyway, that's not the topic I'm talking about now. So, and then there are other kinds of mental illnesses that makes people unable to discern between reality and fantasy, such as psychosis and schizophrenia. I am obviously not a psychiatrist or a doctor, so I am incapable of giving like a proper medical description of these conditions. But this is discussed when sometimes practitioners experience psychosis on retreats or of retreats of various kinds, and there is uncertainty, what is the role of the practice in that case. But practice doesn't put such seeds in one's mind. Practice only uncovers them. I could tell you a couple of stories of what these seeds are and how they affect mental illness in later on, possibly in future lives. But I'll save those stories for later. But as you know, this is the standard theory we have in Dharma practice, yoga practice, that let's say most factors in our life and in our character are caused by karmas and kleshas. So this is the standard theory. Not everything is karma, but a lot of things are. So mental illnesses, physical illnesses can come about through practice. I recently read of some Tibetan monk who was like a senior monk in some monastery, and he started some or he was committed in some tantric practice, and what happened was that his health went really bad. I don't remember exactly, but his hair fell out, and his stomach didn't work, and he couldn't sleep, and he couldn't do anything. But he had a room and a bed in the monastery, and others helped him. But he knew that such things might happen because apparently he had a big knot, K-N-O-T, knot, in his karmic body, and he knew that he hit something that might have caused him something much worse in future. So he knew that, and he kept practicing and practicing. 6 months passed, and he was like a skeleton, no hair, just in terrible condition, just churning the mantras, doing the practice, following the instructions in the best in his ability. And one day what happened is that knot burst and disappeared, and during some time his health returned. I'm sorry that I don't remember the name of the monastery or the name of the monk, but I recently saw it in some Dharma group at Facebook, that this monk, it really happened a couple of years ago in northern India, I believe, somewhere. Such it can get that bad. Maybe we don't expect it to happen, but but even like a milder, smaller knots, if we approach practice in a idealistic, immature, naive way, If we just want to increase our happiness, make our mind more positive in daily life, and then small bumps, small bumps arise. Suddenly we feel anxious or, scared in some situation, or just angry, so fucking pissed, Why am I so pissed off? I've been like this for a few days and I don't know what's going on. Is it because of my practice? Should I stop? Is the practice wrong? Is there a mistake? No, that's the purpose of practice. So, as it's often said by teachers, that Dharma is not for happiness. Not for that kind of happiness. The happiness that Dharma is for is the kind of happiness that doesn't come and go. A good synonym for that kind of happiness is contentment. Being free of suffering, being free of confusion. So, but I was talking about change. So, in our life, we make choices, and our choices of the past affect our present situation. We choose things. We choose our job. We choose our hobbies. We choose our place of stay. We choose our companions. We choose our diet. We choose our consumer habits, and so on. Loads of choices. And those choices that we make or have made before we realize that there is something called yogic practice and Dharma, and then when we start practice, it might become instantly, or after some period of time, often practitioners start to feel that, okay, what I've chosen before is not really working for me anymore. I don't want to make that choice. I don't feel like making that choice anymore. I don't want to work there anymore. I don't want to eat red meat anymore. Or I don't want to eat junk food anymore because it doesn't make me feel good. I don't want to be with this person anymore. I don't want to do those things anymore. I want to do things differently. I want to choose differently. Maybe I don't want to live in the place or in the city or in the country where I lived before. That's pretty much my story of last 38 years. I never wanted to live in Finland. Finally, maybe I'm getting out. But it's probably not because of Dharma practice that I realized that. But anyway, I didn't choose. Well, that's another story. But anyway, this happens. Previous choices and present choices change through practice. So I've been in that situation myself when something that I chose before didn't work for me before, and I've met loads of people who had the same experience. And it's all good, It's all good. As long as the mind keeps getting clearer, our essential condition, which is mind, when it keeps getting clearer, we keep feeling better from the inside out, not from outside in. Because when we start practicing and there's the motivation, the priorities change in our life. So we don't seek happiness from outside things. So we are not seeking happiness from outside in. but we are seeking happiness or solution to our existential confusion inside out. And this also makes us, about making choices. When our mind is clearer and when we cultivate bodhicitta, compassion, happiness, liberation for all sentient beings, we make more responsible choices and more clear choices. And that's always much, much better than just seeking happiness from external things, like from the limited perspective. So there is nothing wrong with having a job or having a... Does anyone have a Mercedes or a fancy car? Of course not. So there is nothing wrong with owning things and doing things in life. That's what life is for. But the way how you go about it, I just wanted to say that priorities can change. Okay, it's 20 past 2. I think we have covered quite a bit during the last 2 days. It was nice seeing you all and practice together. I think the next time I'll be around will be in July. Summer retreat in UK, in Wales. And hope to see many of you there. And then in June next month there will be a city retreat in Ireland also. So I guess that is all. Thank you very much and practice well.